I have jokes coming. Jokes incoming. Let's see. There we go. There's the alert that I'm live. Turn on our do not disturb. And we got a lot of stuff to go over. Morning, Scott. By the way, I'm going to debut. I'm going to wait for about a few minutes, but I'm going to debut my new haircut. Let's just say it's not too flattering. It's not too flattering. Oh, I got an ad. Hit the thumbs up button. Morning, Wendy. Morning, Chris. 2 days in a row. You know what? That's a good. Okay, then we're gonna share this map. Copy. Let's see. Oh no. NVDL. Let's see if there's anything on. Oh, what do they have here? Let me see. There's bubbles. Oh, they have a bubble map. Interesting. Exactly. Throw a dart. It's a single show. Let us help you grow. Podcast in my ears. Hey, don't miss a single show. Okay. I think it thumbs up. There's 15 people, 12 thumbs up. So I will debut my new haircut. And scene. Boy, it looks horrible. Looks worse than I could have even imagined. It'll be blonde. Morning, Leslie. We're going back to blonde. And the camera shake is because I need to get comfortable. And just for the serial killers out there, yes, I have a top on my water cup again. You're out of your mind if you don't have a water cup with a top on it. Boy, that 511. 511, it closed at 511.41. I need the blonde looks way better. And what's funny is these two sections right here. It's not. By the way, this is what I was doing to my girlfriend. I was doing ooh, because that makes me look like Curious George. Yeah, but those two sections right there are not thinning. It's I cut it with I made a mistake. So I had to try and even it out right there. and it's just it looks way worse. Let me just say, I'm not going large big screen Gary today, but yeah. Morning T Drift, morning Jacob, morning Simon. We got a big show. I thought yesterday's podcast, honestly, if you didn't tune into yesterday's podcast, I thought it was one of the best because days like yesterday are exactly why I do the show that I do. And it's because if you didn't sleep last night, you're not setting yourself up for success. You're gambling. And so couldn't have been more clear as day to me that, hey, I don't think. Now, here's the thing. This is what's crazy. This heat map does not look bad whatsoever. Nothing looks horrible in this heat map. So if you're out of balance, again, I have a huge position in Apple, and it was up nearly 4%. My portfolio was perfectly fine yesterday. It got hurt because I do have a large Broadcom and NVIDIA and QQQ. So, yeah, the Rockstar look is much better. But here's what it is, and the photographer in me and I'm not a great photographer, but I know what looks good. And the pinkish hue in my skin does not go well with the brown hair without depth. And so you need the blonde in there. And it's not just blonde tips. I mean, Joe Burrow, it's funny because Joe Burrow said this. He said, they asked him what I think it was Cam Newton asked him, what's with the tips? And he said, I just don't like the way if you get tips done, it looks. So I just went pure blonde and it'll grow in. And he did. And he let it grow out. But unfortunately, I get so crazy about, I hate hair. I don't like it on top of my head. So I wind up just cutting it all off. Okay. Bank of America has an entry in the 4 hour, just so you know. XLF did perfectly fine yesterday. Let's see. Any of the top stocks on Stock Twits? Nope. I could do alpha picks, but I'd rather not. We're not going to do that. Let's see if anything that I hold. I don't have I guess I don't have Bank of America. Any of the top stocks? Nope, nothing. Let's see if Bitcoin dipped under one. Yeah. Okay. Bitcoin and crypto, BTCZ and, tilde BTC USD. So the actual Bitcoin got, in the 4 hour algorithm, and you can see clearly 110 is a resistance. So until we clear that 110, and mind you, I think under Trump you clear that 110. I think you do. So does that go back to, let's see? No, it doesn't really go back. You've just doubled it. I mean, look at the weekly. The weekly's clearly right there. Yeah, I think the chips. I think the chips triple leveraged is not a bad deal at all. Bitcoin's a bit stretched on the weekly, but yeah. So Bitcoin and crypto. Let's do more income ETFs. I probably should change the name of that from covered call to income. Energy, I still have to update that damn list. Still have to update that list. But by the way, in the newsletter chat window, Eli had his one-on-one with Trendspider, and he said it was game-changing. Now, Eli's a guy who has had Trendspider for a year. This is what I tell people. Oh, God. Man, we've got ETFs. This is a huge list. QQQD, PSQ. So all I think the shorts on leveraged ETFs got it. But he said it was game changing in that he wound up learning so much in a one-on-one with Trendspider. And UVIX. Wow. There's a lot of double and triple leverage ETFs that seem to have gotten an entry yesterday, like SARK, the short, double leverage short on ARK. SQQQ, you can see the bounce up there. I don't know that I have owned these in the past, but I don't think yesterday's downturn in the tech stocks, I think it's a buying up. This is August 5th again. I mean, that's my take on it is it's August 5th. If you don't have a position, like I said yesterday, I was, my notes yesterday on Spaces, they never got to me because people on Spaces, people love to hear themselves talk. And they talk the same thing that the last person just said. There are too many people on those Spaces who don't pay attention. And Wolf and those guys, Evan, the hosts, they just don't pay attention because they're busy doing stuff. And it's the market. You're busy doing stuff. But if you're going to be a guest on the show, listen to the show because you just keep repeating. So here's what I was saying. While listening to the space, the market closed. Bitcoin is back over 100K. I was able to drive to Walmart and back, unload my groceries on full self-driving with Tesla, unlike Holmar's blog, Omar, who tapes it. I didn't tape it. I'm completely unloaded the car. I'm sitting in Apple. They pulled back 10% before bouncing back up. I'm much happier with them going into earnings at 220 than 250. Wolf says, when in doubt, pull out. That should be the advice for Tyreek Hill when he meets a new baby mama because the guy has 19 kids with 18 baby mamas. Look at the power utilities. They were down 25%, but they were up 200% last year. Is that bad? When in doubt, pull out. I had so many good jokes. You'll benefit from them this morning. So many good jokes yesterday. And those guys didn't call on me. So, and I feel douchey raising my hand and saying I want to speak. Even though I'm invited, I just don't like raising my hand and saying, because honestly, I don't know the audience over there. It's usually like 1,000 people who listen to Spaces all day. Who are these people? Who has time to listen to Spaces? Who has time to listen to me? There's 51 people in here, 25 thumbs up, so there should be 50 thumbs up. I think I had something like 500 people in here yesterday. That's what YouTube told me. Even though you see 50, they keep telling me there's 500. So it's obviously bots that they're counting. So if nobody's a bot, comment. If you're not a bot, just comment. At the very least, hit the thumbs up button. And then go watch the regular videos on this channel. I'm scanning right now. This is what I'm scanning. I scan with Trendspider to find bullish entries on the 4-hour algorithm that are in Trendspider. If you want my 4-hour algorithm, which is a fantastic way to trade, it is here. Linktree. The Linktree down below. Alex isn't a bot. I know Alex isn't a bot. And I know everybody's saying good morning's not a bot, so you don't have to comment I'm not a bot if you already said good morning, because I said good morning. Let's see. Let's go down the line. Good morning, Bill Murray. The other Bill Murray. Good morning, Hunter. Morning, Beast. Morning, Roger, Andres, and Matt. And Leslie's a bot. See? Terry's here. Welcome, Terry. Sold UNH and bought NVD. Isn't NVD the down one? Hold on. Ooh, that's ballsy, Mark. That is ballsy as F. You are Matt Damon. Fortune favors the brave. Why is my watch list stopping? Let me see. Let me scan this again. Do I have to pull? Beep, beep, terminate. Yeah, I mean, I think there were people who were worried about China yesterday with DeepSeek, and I'm not worried about China let's be honest. You're being spied on. And for all of human history, you've been spied on. So what they do with that is another story, but Regeneron and Intuit right before tax time. See how this chart looks. That chart looks bad. Who's using Intuit to do their taxes? That'll be an interesting one. I had to hire a and I know I'm at some point I need to put out a video so that, I try and be transparent with everybody as I can. I hired an accountant and an attorney for the podcast. So, because it's turning into an effing business. Boy, that might make it back to that 716, but I mean, the support level's 500, and you're trading at 600 right now. That 500 pump back there in 2022, the higher one might be 550, because you can see if I just put a line across 550, and this is how you read charts. Look for a bump up, okay? Right there, you can see it bumped up, and then it pulled back. So that would be a resistance, and we're on a weekly chart. That would be a resistance. Then I look for a low, and I'm like, okay, is there anything else there? Well, it pulled back here before that breakout, so maybe 478. But that 550 level, when you see it break out above there, and then it pulls back, where does it sit? It sits at that 550. So for me, at 600 right today, for long term, if I'm looking at it, I don't know that I want it at 600, but God, it might be a good buy. Yeah. Yeah, I think D-Man told me he used Cash App. SYF, is that Synchrony Financial? Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, this is an alpha pick. And Synchrony Financial is down 3.92. Let's see. I mean, for me, the valuation is in line. Earnings miss on higher than expected credit costs. That's if they lose on net interest income, that's a little concerning for a bank. Now, let me just go look. Because for banks in particular, I've always been taught, look at the book value. And it's trading at 69. The actual book value is 37. 2 times the book value. Jamie Dimon even said we are not buying JP Morgan stock because at 2 times book value, that's not realistic. Trading at 69, okay, it pulled back to 67. You're almost at 2 times book value. So they do have $46 of cash on hand. I think any pullback you see in a financial, I think you could buy. Specifically, I think this is interesting. It's one of the strongest from Wall Street, seeking out the quant. I mean, all the analysts. For me, if I'm in this, I mean, okay, I'm not in this. Full disclosure, I am not in this. But if I was in Synchrony Financial, I'd probably be in it from just a technical standpoint. And that bump up from 56 to 63, and you haven't filled that gap back there, and you're going to open up down 4% at 67. I think if you break that 50-day today, meaning that you close below 66, 67, you're trading at 67 right now. I think if you break that 50-day, you get out. And that's assuming that you have a profit in Synchrony Financial. And I think you wait to buy it lower, down around 60, because I think this gap, if you miss on net interest income, that's concerning. And with a bank, when you had higher interest rates, but I don't, again, I'd go by the quant. I would go by things of that sort. So I'd trust, yeah. If it's an alpha pick, I own it. Yeah. But here's the difference, Alex. I'm not trading alpha picks. So you have to get it into your head about the way, remember, and I tell people, this is the story of yesterday is the strategy, okay? Can trade it on the 4-hour. Let's go look at SYF on the 4-hour algorithm. We'll just look at it. I like that chart, but let's look at SYF on the 4-hour. The 4-hour algorithm makes you 125% over 24 months, 107% if you buy and hold. You obviously do better. 48% win. Your average win is 11%. Keeps you away from the downside. It has you in. Okay, probably, most likely, now that I know this, it's going to get you out in the next few days if you get down to that 65. But the strategy I have for alpha picks is buy, and when they tell me to sell, I sell. I add 1% in each time they tell me to buy. So it's a no-brainer portfolio. So I do own it, but the strategy is different. So if I owned it out of alpha picks, I might have a technical strategy. I don't think that I would typically own something like Synchrony Financial outside of a technical strategy. But again, SYF, let's see what the Wall Street analysts think that it's worth, because, according to the guy yesterday, it's naive people, 75. That might get brought down. I mean, they've been chasing that up, it looks like. So might get brought down. Okay, I'm going to be right back. I'm going to put you on some very relaxing music. Your boy had some tea this morning, so let me just go clear out some stuff. Clear out my bladder. I'm an old man. Look at the baldness. See? Look at the baldness. It was an error. My haircut. I shouldn't cut my own hair, but I do. This is just, let me give you a financial independence, retire early tip here. It's not about how much money you make. It's more about how much money you spend. Significantly, if you can cut your costs down by 10%, you just made a 10% gain in the market. So just putting it out there. Okay, I will be right back.
And fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Listen now. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through.
And I think I said go to get water. And scene. Okay. Am I the only one that the music is quieter? Yes. The music is significantly quieter. Just so you know, I lowered the volume of the music significantly so that when I'm on the pre stuff, Bob, I shop at Walmart all the time. I love Walmart. Okay, we're going to go over waste management for D-Man. We're going to go over earnings that are coming up. I've got my own personal earnings calendar from Seeking Alpha, and I can probably look. Let me see. Let me open up a Seeking Alpha window and see. They do have an earnings calendar. Seasonality, there we go. And you can get upcoming earnings in your stocks. So I like that. Trump says Microsoft is in the realm. We're going to look at Seeking Alpha, and we're going to look at trending and top most active stocks, because Talon Energy, Sterling, which is an alpha pick, Home Depot was up, Fix, Comfort Systems was down, VRT, which I bring up all the time, which I do own, Modine, which is an alpha pick, was down 8%. So one of the benefits of having alpha picks is they sent you a message yesterday. I mean, it was really good. I think I have it linked. Here's 15 names to monitor for software from Shy, because I agree with him. I think yesterday was the key point. You're going to see more focus on software than anything. And yes, we are going to talk about DeepSeek, because DeepSeek was yesterday's stuff. I just want to bring it up. I do think that this is the Sputnik moment where we get into a race. We're going to look at Alibaba's new stuff. Is Alibaba worth buying? Musk agrees that there's no way these guys trained it on just that stuff. Tom Lee also thinks that this is a buying opportunity. So, do with that what you want. Overreaction from former Intel CEO. Marvell was the biggest loser yesterday, just so you know. This one, reading into NVIDIA, Gene Munster, he thinks it's a buying opportunity. This was stuff that I did. So I was looking at alpha picks, and I said, let's look at the year-to-date gain, up 10% versus the S&P up 3%. So yesterday's pullback, you're still positive on the year-to-date. I guess I can't. Yeah, okay, there we go. DeepSeek AI breakthrough. I like that one. This is alpha picks, and you can see the total return up to 64%. The biggest movers today, NVIDIA, GGG, and more. We'll kind of go over that. Sectors. This was super interesting yesterday because I wanted to point out the U.S. equities. So this is the Dow, small cap, mid cap. You can see the Dow was actually positive. And there were a lot of sectors that were positive yesterday. So I always like to do this at the end of the day. And there were a lot of winners in the utility space. Just sort of the S&P on FinViz by the winners in the utility space. Everything wasn't down. The biggest losers in the S&P, this was the biggest losers in the S&P. Look at it. It's utilities, it's technology. There's a real estate one, DLR was in there. The biggest winners in the utility sector, Vistra and Constellation led the S&P losers as DeepSeek. They were down 20%, and we'll go over why. The heat map for yesterday shows exactly. It wasn't a bad day. I mean, it wasn't a bad day. It just depends on what you held. So, for me, I was down, but I wasn't down that much. And again, who remembers Black Monday? So, this is a joke, so we're going to go through all that too. Did RTX pop? I think they were down on earnings. I think RTX was actually down with the initial reaction on earnings. They must have said something. Let's see. Yeah, see the earnings right there at 7:05, and then that 8 o'clock candle. It dipped down to 122. So you're trading at 131 right now. Yeah, there was something in there that they said that was really good. So RTX, listen, 4-hour algorithm got you in at 115. So it's a good one. Okay. Okay, let's go back to the Qs. Start out with the Qs. Okay. Wah, wah, wah. Okay, I'm going to hit record. Here goes the podcast. If you haven't hit the thumbs up button, hit the thumbs up button. I'm about to record the podcast. It's a top 50 podcast, not overall, but in investing on Spotfiy. So if you haven't listened over there, go listen. I honestly don't know how to read their damn things. There's, tens of thousands of people that listen to it every day. I'm assuming you 62 people in here, or like YouTube told me yesterday, 500 people tuned in for the live. Let's see, my Webull account. I am stuck in MSTX. Not stuck, but it didn't hit my my out. But my Webull account 11 to 216. So I think it got down to about 10 something yesterday. So it's a little not concerning. I mean, that's my Webull account. I'm not showing you my my Fidelity account. I will tell you. Let's see. I'll tell you what percentage I was down in my Fidelity account. Oh, I got to use Face ID. Fidelity account was down 0.40. So the NASDAQ was down much more. Typically, I follow the NASDAQ, but I had Apple, which is a large portion of my portfolio. In pre-market, it does look like the core portfolio has some good movers. Taiwan Semi still under $200. I mean, that's a great buy for me. Solid buy. Berkshire's going back to all-time highs. I mean, Berkshire, you're going to bounce off that 480. It's at 473 right now. It's not super extended, but it's not like, oh my God, I've got to buy it. But Larry, yeah. Okay. Let's see. QQQ on the 4-hour. There we go. I'll hit record now. Good morning. It is Tuesday, January 28th. Bloody Tuesday? I don't know. I mean, here we go. The Wolf Crew yesterday. I was on Spaces, and I'm going to be on Spaces a lot this week. So if you want, go over to Twitter, follow me on Twitter, and you can get alerted when I'm on Spaces. I think Twitter does that, but I don't know how to set it up. But they never called on me yesterday. So you guys get the exclusive to my thoughts on the market. But first, a message from our sponsor. Have you tried DeepSeek? China is now sponsoring the podcast. What is DeepSeek? DeepSeek's an AI. Okay, this is a great article. If you don't know what it is, it's a great article. It tells you several tech stocks were in the lead. Implications on Bloomberg reports that the combined losses in share price between the NASDAQ 100 and European stock 600 technology subindex is equal to $1.2 trillion. The loss in NVIDIA alone yesterday would have put it as the 17th largest publicly traded stock in the world. Okay? It looked horrible. My portfolio looked really, really bad. It was bad. You know, the Qs, we held up to that 511. Okay? The morning candle, the low was 510. The afternoon candle, the low was 510. So we're around there. Does that mean all bets are off and we're ready to go up? No. We're going to go over everything. We're going to go over NVIDIA. I'm going to go over the utility sector, which I do think is a buy, and I'll tell you right now why. We're going to go over the year-to-date gains on most of those stocks that were down yesterday. We'll go over. Is it an overreaction? I think so, and so do so many people. Alibaba released a few new AI models. Why is Apple still a buy? If you want software names, 15 software names from Shai. We'll go over the trending stocks, which 2 of them I think you could buy on the dip. We'll go over who's going to buy TikTok because Microsoft all of a sudden is in there. Is that something to look at? And we'll go over the earnings calendar because let's be honest, we've got a Fed meeting announcement tomorrow, and you've got huge earnings today. So let's first look at the Qs. Are all bets off? Is it buy back in and you know, everything's just back? No. There is still risk in this market. We've still got, if for some reason you've got a CTO that comes out and tells us, you know, we're going to cut spending on our chips, then you're kind of screwed. It showed yesterday what the largest companies, when they get taken down, can do to the indexes. Okay? Look, who remembers Black Monday? The yen carry trade, okay? Did you want to buy on August 5th? Absolutely. Do you want to buy DeepSeek? FUD? Everyone panic? Call your mom. That was yesterday's episode. Okay? Here's the heat map. Doesn't look bad. You've got Apple up 4%. You got Meta up 2%. You got Walmart up almost 3%. Costco up 3%. There is a lot of green on this. Look at healthcare. Again, a sector that was hated. We'll go over all the sectors. But right now, I want to kind of go over what happened. Okay? NVIDIA. This was down significantly. The chart looks ugly. Algorithm got you out with a 16% loss. The algorithm makes you 309% over 24 months. That 16% doesn't help. It wins 55% of the time, okay? There's some safety in here, but it's not perfect. It's not perfect. There's only 20 positions. So you win about 11 of them. You win 11 out of 20, but it's not perfect, okay? Your average win, 21%. See, look at that 18%. We're still looking at 140 as the resistance. So if for some reason we hear this week somebody take down their spend, we're going to see more losses. Who's going to win? The shareholders of those hyperscalers. Because if they cut back spending, guess who benefits? It's shareholders. Where's that money going? Most likely shareholders. This looks like it's oversold. So today it's up 2.43%. Do you buy at 120? If you want to hold on, yes. You are not going to 240 in this stock. The market cap will not let you get to 240 in this stock. So here's the counter argument. I believe that Zuckerberg is one of the smartest founders of the Mag 7. The Mag 7 is still founder led, okay, by Zuckerberg. You may not like the guy, but I do think he's very intelligent and he has done this, okay? He announced last week that he's buying a record number of NVIDIA chips. Who was up yesterday? Meta. Because they've already got all their chips, okay? NVIDIA was down, but they've got a ton of chips. Now, do you think, I don't believe, the biggest thing is whether you believe that the Chinese trained their model on that few of chips. Okay, NVIDIA is in a no-win situation because if NVIDIA comes out and says there's no way they trained it on those chips, then they're telling America, put more curbs on the Chinese because they've obviously gotten the chips. They're not going to sell the chips. So they cut back their sales. And then if they say, well, it's obvious they're able to train it on those chips, boom, NVIDIA actually just talked their own book down. And they said you don't need these additional chips. So do I believe that the Chinese trained for that little money? No. Do I think they screen scraped and stole some code? Yes. Do I think they used a smaller amount of chips to actually train, but they stole some base code? Yes. I think that's exactly, I think the Chinese, listen, you give credit where credit is due. That was a chess match. They just manipulated the US stock market by basically saying, you know what? Here's your red pill, here's your green pill. And they were celebrating over there. But if you think that Mark Zuckerberg 1 week before did a record spend and pre-announced that he was buying all of this, and if you think that there is any thought process in his mind that he could do it cheaper, remember the time when Elon got all those CEOs? I think it was January of last year. He said, I'm worried about the pace of AI. Let's all agree we're going to slow it down. What happened? They all went, they went balls deep and they started spending on NVIDIA chips and they started accelerating AI. What was it, 6 weeks? Elon built the largest data center with a ton of NVIDIA chips. He didn't even slow down. So if you think that for some reason everybody's going to slow down on this, and even NVIDIA, remember, the NVIDIA chips will continue to get sold because they need to use that software. So I think Zuck is smart enough that if he thought there was any way he could do it cheaper, they would. Okay? And think about it this way. The power companies. We had VST. We had Constellation Energy. We had all of those high flyers in the utilities. They were down 25%. Why? Because the Chinese have shown that it can be done 25% more efficiently with power. So anything that was up, we'll go over everything like this. Look, the heat map shows it's not, it wasn't bad. Vista and Constellation lead the S&P losers as DeepSeek market routes it down. Well, let's just go over this. VST up 387% in 1 year. And it's down 28%. Buy it. GE Vernova. Okay. That one was down. Let's see. It was down. GE Vernova was down 24%. That's up 100% over the last 6 months. Not even the last year. 6 months. Constellation Energy. That one was down 20% yesterday. Up 200% for 1 year. When in doubt, zoom out. Because there were still, like I showed, we're going to show this. This is the top losers in the S&P yesterday. To VST, to Arista Networks, I believe that that's an opportunity. GE Vernova, they're just getting pumped today. Constellation Energy, they're back up. So take a look at the losers yesterday. Find stocks that are a valuation that are good. VST and GEV and CEG, you're paying for the top winners. Okay? But this shows technology and utilities were the top losers. That's an interesting one. Now, these are the top winners. These are the top, let's say, biggest winners, including utilities. Look, the top one, America Waterworks, it's a utility. It was up 6%. Doesn't mean the whole sector's down. Consolidated Edison, that was up 4%. Ones that didn't fly were up. Okay, the home builders got huge because, again, I wrote in the paid newsletter yesterday, I gave my outlook on it. I said the VIX wants to be at 20. Well, guess where it got to? It got to 20. I think it was 18 or 19, somewhere there, before it gets to 10. Unfortunately, fortunately, interest rates showed that they ticked down, so the 10-year came down. What happened? Home builders went up. So this is all something that you can look at and create a strategy around. So look at this. The Dow was actually green yesterday. Small caps weren't that badly hit. Mid caps, 1%. On a day like yesterday, mid caps 1%, I'd take it. Look at, they're up 1% over 5 days. The NASDAQ just got destroyed. Then you had consumer staples up 2.71% yesterday. Healthcare up 2.25. Technology down 4.90. So it's all about what you want to, what you're invested in. If you hurt yesterday and you didn't sleep last night, you may have just the wrong portfolio because it wasn't as much of a bloodbath as everybody says. If the Mag 7 continue to go down the way that they did, then you're going to have to adjust it. This is what market rotation looks like. But I think those losers yesterday, I think you could buy them, but don't go balls deep. The biggest stock movers Tuesday, these were huge. Biggest stock movers include NVIDIA chips and power like TLN, CEG, VST, and others. Okay, VST gained 5%. Talon Energy, GE Vernova all rose 4%. RTX on its earnings, again, earnings are moving stocks. That was up 4% after strong earnings. And if you didn't sleep last night, you don't have a proper portfolio for your own risk tolerance. That's it. If you slept fine, you may just have alpha picks. Again, alpha picks yesterday, here's what it is. Year-to-date alpha picks up 10% versus the S&P up 3.71. Okay? Year-to-date alpha picks. And yesterday, what did you get as an alpha picks benefit, a subscriber? DeepSeek AI breakthrough triggers market volatility. They went over all the alpha picks yesterday. You get all of that. How do you get this? Well, you go to the link tree down below, linktr.ee/daily stock pick, okay? I would suggest the second link because that gets you not only premium, which gets you the virtual analyst reports, which gets you the quant ratings on everything that you want to do and you can research stocks, but it gets you the Alpha Picks portfolio. And the Alpha Picks portfolio, again, is such a good portfolio. Look at I think it's up 186%. This is an old graph, but I can't get the new one up because then I'd have to show you the portfolio and then they yell at me. But you get $50 off. Now, $50 off the bundle of Alpha Picks is great. But you save $159 off of the price of the bundle. So you're saving more. And that's what I like. If you just want to research your own stocks, you can get that and you get $30 off and you get a free 7-day trial. All the links are here. If you want the premium and the Alpha Picks bundle, it's right there. If you want just premium and the 7-day trial, it's right there. If you want the Alpha Picks portfolio and not even worry about it, you get it there. How do I use the Alpha Picks portfolio? I put it in the newsletter every freaking day. I bought $50,000 worth of it one time. I bought $80,000 worth of it the next time. I don't think. I just buy when they tell me and I sell when they tell me. That's what Alpha Picks portfolio is. The buys, 2 per month. It's 1 on the 1st, 1 on the 15th. You add 1% of your buy-in. So I have a portfolio of $50,000 in there. I will buy 1% of that. So it's $500 each time. Okay? Have a job, start adding. And that's how they have that performance. It's really, really good. And they give you certain things. Again, here's the portfolio return up 164% versus the S&P at 58%. So it's a great portfolio. So if you didn't get it, there were big gainers, including Twilio yesterday, which is an alpha pick. Expanded earning, Salesforce, Green Brick Partners, all of those were up and they're in alpha picks. There were some that lost CLS. But remember, the majority, because you add in 1% into the portfolio each time, the only amount that you'll lose is 1% if it goes to 0. Again, it's a managed portfolio that way. So, I love that one. Now, let's talk about NVIDIA. If NVIDIA's loss yesterday was a company, it would be down the 17th largest company in the world. That's what they lost yesterday. It's why I don't want NVIDIA as my core position in my portfolio. But it is a decent amount of my portfolio. I have exposure in the Qs. I have exposure in XLK. I have exposure in multiple ETFs. So I am exposed to it. But Gene Munster says, reading into NVIDIA's response to DeepSeek, they didn't say much. NVIDIA acknowledged DeepSeek's strong model performance and noted it as proof that time-tested scale remains effective. The most positive takeaway was their comment that the scaling laws are continuing, implying demand for NVIDIA's most advanced chip remains favorable. They will have to buy more. They will have to do it. And NVIDIA wasn't even the biggest one that was down yesterday. Marvell leads the losses. That was the biggest one. It plunged 19%. Broadcom was down 17%. CRDO, Credio, which is the number one stock for 2025, that was down huge yesterday. Are these buys? In my mind, any reaction in the market is an overreaction. This is up 7% in pre-market, Credo. We can go and look at AVGO. AVGO is up 4%. Again, I think Credo has more room to actually grow than Broadcom. Broadcom's a competitor. So I think these two stocks, I think you could buy the dip on these two stocks. Find a strategy. Maybe the strategy is here in Trendspider, the 4-hour algorithm. Credo, it got you out with a 28% loss. Is it going to get you back in? Probably. Most likely, yes. It's going to continue that. You have a huge Bollinger Band. Is it overpriced? Well, let's go look. The valuation, not particularly. The PEG ratio is still low as long as they continue growth. When's their earnings coming up? It's coming up in February, late February. Now, if we look at the weekly, you can see the MACD still stretched. Do you want to get into on this? Well, on their last earnings, December 2nd, the low was 47. Where did it trade down to yesterday? The low was 51. It's trading at 55 right now. Don't go balls deep. Add a little bit. It's, again, a little bit stretched here. Maybe it's the 4-hour that you want to look at on that one. But again, Gene Munster thinks that it's good. Marvell was the biggest one. You can look at Marvell. Find a strategy that fits your risk tolerance. Okay? Former Intel CEO, blast market for DeepSeek overreaction. Any reaction in the market is an overreaction. So I like this one. I like this article. I like Pat Gelsinger. I think he got the short end of the stick. But I also think the guy's like, Mr. Happy even when, the sky is falling. So take it what you want. Tom Lee thinks today's NVIDIA is an overreaction. So remember, this market reaction is because the markets assumed China trained their model on $6 million worth of chips. Musk, nah. He agrees with the Scale AEI CEO, suggesting DeepSeek has more NVIDIA chips. Listen to the experts. The experts are saying there's no way they train this model. And do we think that the Chinese would lie to try and get, again, we just banned TikTok. Is this the reaction to TikTok where they say, hey, hold my beer, we're going to crash the U.S. stock market? Could be. Could be. Alibaba is launching new AI models. Is that a buy? They're up 1.24. Is Alibaba a buy? I don't know. I don't like this stock. It's not one that I would hold in my portfolio, but I could trade it. And let's say, as long as it's going along strong on a weekly, on a long term, I wouldn't mind trading Alibaba. We've seen a nice little upturn. The algorithm has you in here at 82. And you're seeing the 50-day may start to turn. You're seeing a resistance up there at 120. But boy, if you buy at 90, that 120, if you get up there, they're launching models. Have we seen the bottom? The 50-day on the weekly is moving. The MACD right at the oscillator. It's not extended. The RSI at 53. This is one that's trading at a level that it hasn't traded at since 2016? Is it crazy? I don't know. If you like China stocks, maybe this is one. Maybe they actually get some access to the DeepSeek model that other companies don't. Sam Altman, DeepSeek, OpenAI promises he's going to, when they said this is a Sputnik moment, for everybody in the audience who's not aware, Sputnik was the Russian, they actually went into orbit first. And that kicked off the space race here in the US. And we had a timeline and we needed to get to the moon. We were the first ones to the moon. And what they're calling this is the Sputnik moment, is that we're going to kick ass and, America, F yeah. And if you don't know that Team America, just go and Google Team America, America. And you'll find a song that will put you in such spirits. It's so good. America, fuck yeah. Now I got to label this with adult language. But again, I think you buy the dip. Now, Apple bucks the deep sea sell-off as investors await Q1 return. I like Apple going into earnings at 220 more than I like it going into earnings at 233. 233 is a bit expensive for me. I like it going in with lower expectations because then it's already pulled back. And when I reinvest my dividends, I get a better price. I have thousands of dollars of dividends that come to me and it just automatically reinvests. That is one choice that I'm super happy with, that for certain stocks, I just choose to reinvest the dividends. But they bucked it. You know why? Because Apple would be a winner because they don't spend on AI the way the rest of the companies do. It's smart spend. And if China can create a model that's small enough for a laptop, remember, this is running on a laptop and it's not power constrained, Apple will be able to put it on a device. If there's one company that will be able to put it on a device, it's Apple. And what was up yesterday? It was software. It was CRM. It was a snowflake. Here's 15 software companies that Shy is monitoring. Okay? Go and do your research on them. CRM, I own. Snowflake, I own. And Snowflake, I trade in that range. We've gone over this before. Find a strategy that works. For a stock that you own, don't get shocked when it's down 17% like NVIDIA yesterday. It was clear that NVIDIA could move like that. We've had it many times before. I bought in at like 136. It's trading right now at 119. It's pulling back a little bit more. Okay, as the market opens. Snowflake, we've gone over this before. What's my strategy? It's in this realm. Okay, it's up at 180. I'm looking to start selling at this level. I'm not looking to start buying until it can get above the 200-day on the weekly. I want a stock that can hold the 200-day on the weekly. It's not rocket science, but you've got to figure out a strategy. That's what yesterday was all about. Okay? One of the strategies, there's a lot of stocks on the watch list, the daily stock pick watch list that's in Trendspider, that wound up in the trending and most active stocks. Talon Energy is one. Sterling Infrastructure is another one. Okay, VRT is another one. I own VRT. TLN is one of the ones that I put in the Daily Stock Pick 2025 portfolio. The 10 stocks that I wanted to try and beat the S&P. It's up 3%. Talon Energy is one that I like in the utility sector, and it's a new one. It's just under its 200-day. Okay, the algorithm got you out with a 7% loss. The weekly doesn't even show up because it's so new. But I like this stock. Okay, if you go over here and look at Talon Energy, it is a strong buy in the quant. The valuation's there, the growth is there, the profitability's there. Wall Street, it's a strong buy. 10 analysts think that it's worth $267, which is a 35% upside. It's ranked number 1 out of 6 in the utility sector. Again, watch list, making sure that you watch the trending and most active stocks. That's a strategy. Okay, I like it. And then out of left field, you've got one of my top stocks, Microsoft, is a contender for TikTok. I like this. Okay, I don't like that they're going to buy TikTok, but if they're involved with TikTok, boy, they get the cloud business. They get some pretty impressive customer numbers that they could target. I like it. What else do I like? I like playing earnings. And here's another benefit to having Seeking Alpha. You get the upcoming earnings in your stocks. Microsoft reports tomorrow after the bell. Tesla reports tomorrow after the bell. We can go and look at Earnings Hub, okay? Today it's Starbucks, Stryker, Chubb. Earnings Hub, Tesla. They're expected 76 cents. What'd they report last time? 72 cents. That would be a big jump. I'm just saying. It's at 391, under 400. If he comes out with some type of statement about buying NVIDIA chips or not having to buy NVIDIA chips or some type of demand thing, could move it. You know, hey, we're going to have full self-driving available. Trump has promised that it's going to get rushed through there. Don't put it past Elon. The man's a showman. Microsoft, they're expected $3.12 per share. They reported $3.30 last time. I think this one could, I don't like it going in at 432, but as you get to 400, I like that stock. Meta, I've told you, buy it under 600. It's at 673 now. I don't know that you're going to have a chance to buy this one, okay? They reported $6.03. I would not be buying this one before earnings. Doesn't mean it's not going to pop. I just don't like it going in with an expectation of $6.73. And without the election advertising, I think you might see this one have very tough comps this year. I'd like to buy it closer to 600. I'm having patience. You know, you can look at some of these stock charts. We can look at Meta. And is this one worth buying? Look at this. I mean, on a 4-hour, the algorithm got you in at 615. That was January 17th. That was 10 days ago. And it's moved up 100 points. Okay? From a percentage standpoint, 10%. I don't want to get in when it's up 10%. I want to get in when the algorithm tells me to. You win 61% of the time on the 4-hour algorithm on this. Again, I got an alert to buy here. You can see it. I don't even know what this damn thing is. The Trendspider names their alerts. I don't know what that is, but I commended them. It makes me laugh every time. 6:15, I got a text. Did I buy it? Yep. Bought a little bit, not much. Should have bought more. But again, I like that one. When you look at a weekly, look at it. The MACD kind of resetting. It's just kind of sitting there. But I would look at this 549 as support. We've seen it move from resistance 1, 2, 3 times. And then once you broke over it and held it on a pullback, boom, that was support and it took off. Is it stretched? A little bit. A little bit. But the Bollinger Bands aren't hugely stretched on the weekly. But I want to wait past earnings. That's just my thought process. And then you go and look at a little bit more. You got Apple coming up on Thursday. You got Exxon and Amazon on Friday. Or on Thursday. Thursday, sorry. Amazon's Thursday, I think. Let me see. Let's go over here and look. Amazon. Yeah, I don't know where Amazon is. But they're reporting at some point in time. I think Trendspider is just, or Seeking Alpha is just a little bit. You got Google coming up. You got PayPal. You got Pepsi. You got Palantir coming up. Again, have a system in place so that you know when your stocks are moving. Now, from YouTube, if you didn't know, you can contact me anywhere, and I'll look at a stock for you. D-Man, one of the biggest supporters of the podcast. This guy is never disconnecting. And I did. Yesterday, I wrote a newsletter about, I got a bunch of just comments about the education section here and how I think Eli was one that wrote back that he goes to this regularly just to look and refresh his knowledge. I got a couple other, I think 3 other ones, comments about how good it is. It's video, it's posts, it's charts. The education section is a really good one. And it's far less than what you would pay for a course. And I think it gives you everything that you absolutely need. So for me, I think that's a great one. D-Man is a supporter. He's a paid subscriber. Let's see. He commented on YouTube. Added waste management into his own. He works for Home Depot, and he's got what he calls a depot portfolio. And so his strategy is, hey, what does Depot use that I'm seeing all this time at Depot? Waste management. What company doesn't use waste management? Tell me. I mean, trash is trash. He was preparing for protections. And it's been a good buy entry at 200 is my average cost. And you're right. People are going back to safety. I see it in WM. You have a good trade setup and you should bring it up on the pod tomorrow with earnings coming up. I like the name too. I think you can get in for a quick flip play to 220. Perfect retest on the daily. And I think people are front running weekly MACD cross looks like about to happen. I like the name until 230, 240 name. Well, let's take a look at the chart. I mean, he's technical trading this one, okay? Algorithm got you in at 205. Did it feel comfortable for those days when it dipped down to 200? No, but the algorithm got you in at 205. You have the 50-day starting to turn. May not be a bad time. Today, it's up, let's see, 0.18, kind of flat. You're hovering around that 200-day. What's happened the last few times it's hovered around that 200-day? It does seem to pop. It does seem to pop. Look, every time it's hovered around that 200-day, it does seem to pop. Does that mean it's going up? Absolutely not. Earnings? Let's go and look at what the earnings expectations are. We'll go and look at waste management. Let's just type in WM. We'll search. I don't want to look for it. WM waste management. Let's see. Waste management right here. They reported last time $1.96 per share. They're expected $1.79 per share. Okay. Their revenue expected to go up because their revenue estimate last time was 5.51 billion. They reported 5.61. So revenue should go up. Earnings per share should go down. For me, maybe that's a good setup. You look at the 4-hour here. We go and look at the weekly. Is it stretched? No. MACD reset itself. Putting in that nice little, when you see this, it's called capitulation. Just puts in that nice little thing right there around $200. Demand's right. It may be setting up for a move higher. And what's the all-time high on this one? Looks like it's about 220. I'm trading at 214. Just go and look at it from a fundamental standpoint. Is it a buy? Well, Wall Street, right now, there's 23 analysts that cover this one. They think it's 232. That's an 8% upside. Do not stare, a gift horse in the mouth and say, can't happen. Valuation, little stretch. Just move to a hold in the quant. You can see the quant ratings here. It's been a buy. So if you had Seeking Alpha and you saw it move from a hold to a buy at 205, you're doing pretty damn well. Okay, in a name that just doesn't have a huge movement. If we go and let's look at the 52-week range, it's between 184 and 230. So it's got 230 in and it's trading at 214. You can see all this stuff. Now the valuation, bit stretched. PE 29, PEG ratio a little bit high. Does that mean anything? Growth, they got 6%. It's a C+. Levered free cash flow is you're losing 7%. Their profitability unmatched. A. Look at that. Gross profit margin 39% in trash. Momentum, it's a C. Near term at 3 months. It's a little bit stretched. Revisions though, 11 up, 4 down on earnings per share, 16 up, none down on revenue. And remember, they're expected to make more revenue. Take a look at the analyst report. Republic Services, Waste Connections, that's their competitors. Valuation, WN's valuation is stretched with price to book of 12, significantly higher. Growth shows strong growth metrics with year-over-year revenue of 6%. Profitability excels in profitability. Stock's momentum is moderate with 1-year performance of up 12%. The sector medium of 5%. That's underperforming the S&P. You may not want to hold it like D-Man says. Maybe trade it. Positive raised by them. Again, you can read all about this. Okay? The virtual analyst report comes up. If you just go and look at the summary of this one, you can see it's ranked 5 out of 24. What's the number one? Aris Water Solutions, 4.83. Strong buy in the quant. So you could go down a rabbit hole every day with Seeking Alpha, which is stocks that you look at. Okay? Some stocks that came up in the 4-hour algorithm as buys, Bank of America. Bank of America in the 4-hour algorithm has a buy here. It was 44.44 was the original one. This one tells me it's going for another run. Financials, I think you get to 49 on this one. Okay, this is in the core portfolio. And again, the scans that you see at the end of the newsletter, they are all for the 4-hour algorithm. These are bullish in the 4-hour algorithm in Trendspider. That's what that means. Now this one, when you look at it, it's a hold from Wall Street. Quant. But Wall Street thinks it's $51. That's 10% upside from where you are now. So maybe you want to trade the 4-hour algorithm, which makes you 53% over 24 months. Okay, 23 positions, you win 52% of the time. What if you just bought and held it? 24 months ago, you made 38%. Again, make sure you have the tools. Make sure you have a strategy. That's what yesterday's all about. That's what today is all about. Just make sure that that's you. If you lost sleep last night, it's not the market. It's not the you know, the NVIDIA. It's your choices in your portfolio. And so make sure you have a strategy. If the strategy is just buy and hold and VOO and QQQ, that's a strategy. If the strategy is alpha picks, that's a strategy. If the strategy is technical, I went over it yesterday. There's a guy who traded C Limited for over 2 years who thought it was a shipping company. It is a Chinese software company. So, but that's a strategy. Just make sure you have that. Okay, that's it for today. We're going to go over more earnings and stuff. Again, the Fed meeting announcement is tomorrow. We have earnings. You have plenty of catalysts in this market. Right now, it does look like the market's a bit stretched. As it opens up, if we go and look at it, you can see the NASDAQ's down 0.12, S&P down 0.18. Does it mean, again, do you buy balls deep into this market? No. You stick the tip in because we are stretched on a weekly. And it does. You need a large catalyst. And right now, the market is scared. And when the market is scared, you need to look up your fear and index. You need to look up your VIX, and you need to look at the 10-year. But you can see weekly on this one, we're just stretched. And so don't expect a market that gets some good news and pops 10%. Don't expect a market where Trump puts out a tweet and you're up 10%. He could put out a tweet and you're down 10%, but I don't think he can put out a tweet that makes you go up 10%. We are at all-time highs, and that's where it's difficult to say, absolutely, go, pull up your Brinks truck and buy the dip. But you want to do it strategically. And I do think the pullback on the power utility companies and the chip companies, it's an opportunity. But do you make it your part of your main portfolio? No, it shouldn't be 50% of your portfolio. So make sure you're sizing things right and your risk tolerance is okay. If you slept fine last night and you lost 40%, just means your risk tolerance is perfectly fine. But you might not, long term, you might be hurt. Your strategy has to both work, meaning that your returns are good, and it has to allow you to sleep at night. So I'll put more in the newsletter for you. If you have any questions, hit me up. Okay, talk to you tomorrow. Bye. Woo, 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 woo. Bots are us. I think I can do an Alpha Picks heat map on Trendspider. A heat map on a watch list. But I don't know what it is. And I can't do that. They'll yell at me. Smash the like button. Let's see. We got 50 likes, 61 people in here. So it's a good ratio. Are you waiting to get back into Tesla? I own a small portion of Tesla. Full disclosure, Leslie. I own a small portion of Tesla. I do not feel comfortable in Tesla outright until I see I'm not going to buy before earnings. Even though it's 389, I like it on the 4-hour algorithm. The 4-hour algorithm makes you 191%. It has you out. And we've broken through that 400 mark. The valuation matters in Tesla, but what matters more is the hype. And so I think, Elon he's proven me wrong. I have exposure to Tesla through XLY, but I do have Tesla in my Webull portfolio, $500. So, $500. But I'm not looking to buy more. Okay, hold on one second. Wah, wah, wah. Wah, wah, wah. Wah, wah, wah. Okay, let's see. Let me put this into iMovie and have it process while I'm talking with folks. Okay, we're gonna take that out. We're gonna put this in right there. Colorize it a little bit. What? And Daisy, I don't need. Okay. And we're gonna edit this. Hold on. No, you're sitting there. I don't know what you need. I don't know what you need, girl. Let's see. Okay. We're gonna put that one there. It's funny. I've got some agents contacting me. Do copy. Okay, and we will export file to, let's see, 128 pod. There we go. Wah wah. Morning, Eli. Yeah, I love Earnings Hub. I mean, you can go to the calendar and the popular, you can do my watch list, market cap 100 billion. I mean, they continue to come up with stuff. So I like it. Trendspider, I do not do aftermarket hours, Leslie, on Trendspider. And the reason is I just haven't had luck with including after hour stuff. Now, Bitcoin does include after hours because that trades 24/7. So, God, look at Meta's just keeping flying. I mean, Palo Alto under $200. I think that one's a screaming buy. Let's look at Fidelity. Let me look at my big account because I can't imagine this is up. I'm probably down a lot again. Let's see. Oh, holy shit. Wait. Apple's up another 2.31%. Wow. Hoofa. Still down from where I sold it, so I could buy back in. How much for the sandwich? Okay. Dun, 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 dun. Are you in NVIDIA now? Yes. I have a 6-figure position in NVIDIA. Total. But it is not a large portion of my portfolio. So if you have the 4-hour algorithm, here's the way the 4-hour algorithm works, just so everyone knows. You get an alert. I think it's at 12:30, or it might be 1:30. I'm not sure where the afternoon one comes in, but I think it's either 12:30, 1 o'clock, or 1:30. I'm not sure. And you get an alert at 4 o'clock. So if you set up alerts, you'll get it in the middle of the day and the end of the day. And the reason that is that we set that up like that. We used to do hourly alerts, and that was part of the reason the 4-hour came into play. The daily, we didn't like the waiting for the daily at the end of the day. We didn't like that. And so you would get it at the end of the day and the beginning of the day on the daily. I forget which one. But we really liked going hiking during the pandemic, going into going outside and running, doing exercise, doing whatever we needed to do during the pandemic. Both of us had retired in January, the two people, me and Steve, who developed it. And we really liked the 4-hour. So, yeah, and Eli, if they didn't teach you the scans, there's also a way to email you your scans. So the scans that I do in the morning, I do it more to show people that you can scan on Trendspider, because, I mean, who really cares about getting an email? You know, how do I show that on camera? So, but yeah, the 4-hour at the market close, you'll get the 4-hour algorithm that I share with you, Leslie, when you sign up for Trendspider. It does not include after hours. If you want to include after hours, you can do it down here. There's an extended hours, but just make sure that it works. That the actual performance chart, when you look at this portion, performance versus asset performance, you want to make sure that that's it within a comfort level for you. Yeah, Seeking Alpha gives you emails, and Trendspider will shoot you emails. I mean, you know, if I had to pick one tool, and it's difficult because remember, we're going to close that. Trendspider is more expensive. It's you know, it's much more expensive, but if I had to pick one tool to get, God, it's hard. I mean, because I use the bundle. I mean, I call it the Gary bundle, with where you get premium and alpha picks from Seeking Alpha, and you also get Trendspider. And I like that because that's what I use. And for me, if I had to pay for a tool, again, I get it as an affiliate, I get them for free. But when I was a paying customer, I would pay for all three. If I had to choose between one, I would probably choose Trendspider. And the reason I would choose Trendspider is not because I don't think that Alpha Picks is worth it. I just think Trendspider is so unique, and they've come up with such a good platform that Trendspider is the clear winner in that. And you just buy it, and you know, again, get the advanced, because like you said, Eli, you took the one-on-one training after having this freaking thing for a year. And the amount of stuff that they taught you, I think, was game-changing. So, Faro Technologies. I don't know what Faro is. Faro. Faro Technologies algorithm makes you 18% versus losing 15% over 24 months. So first off, I would tell you to trade it on the 4-hour because obviously it works. You've got a nice turnaround on the weekly on Faro Technologies. The 50 days moving positive. I would look to the 200-day at 35 at being a pretty decent resistance with earnings coming up. But I can't imagine that this company's making money. Let's see. It's a strong buy in the quant. The valuation, you do have a PE. Let me see the financials. 347 million. I mean, operating expenses. So it's got good margins. It's a $578 million market cap. You only have 7,000 shares that are trading hands. That's going to be tough to fill. So honestly, I'd make sure that it's a buy and hold. Trading this one might be tough on any short-term trading. 4-hour, you should be fine. Just realize if there's news, you could get, right now, the 4-hour is probably going to get you out in the next couple of days. And heading into earnings, I don't know what you would see. But, I mean, obviously, the quant has it as a strong buy. When did it move to a strong buy? It moved from a buy to a strong buy at 26. And you're trading right now at 30, that could have potentially paid for your entire subscription. So, and again, you can analyze it with the AI. Wall Street, there's 2 analysts that cover it. They think it's worth $35. So that's my look at Faro. Faith, I do not have, yes, essentially what, and I did it yesterday. It's not my portfolio. I try not to share my personal portfolio, but there are 2 portfolios that I have, and it's the Daily Stick paid portfolio, beat the S&P, and the trading portfolio. Both of these, you know, year to date, it's not beating the S&P. You can see that one's down. Let's see, this portfolio is down 3%. The S&P's up 0.3%. So you get access to that one, and you get access to the trading portfolio, which when you look at year to date, let's see, it's up. This one's up 1%, S&P's up 2%. But you look at 1 year, and this trading portfolio is beating it by, double. So trading portfolio is a good one. The core portfolio is free. The core portfolio is free, but you do, as a paid member to the newsletter, you get a coupon code for both of those. And I try and keep folks updated. So yes, ASML, Applied Materials, and then I'm gonna go because it's 10 o'clock. I think this one, look at that. The 50 days turning positive. I think yesterday's reaction was an overreaction, but they got earnings coming up today. So that might be a little bit tough to buy into that. Algorithm has you out. Again, if they can do it with less chips, and they're not going to sell their equipment to chip manufacturers. It's extended on the valuation. Wall Street thinks that it's worth $923. So I don't own this one. I don't want to own this one. I'd rather own Taiwan Semi, to be perfectly honest with you. But if you want to own that one, make your elevator pitch, Ryan. Have a great day, Wendy. General Motors is a alpha pick, and it's a strong buy. Wall Street says that it's worth $60, which is 20% upside. They just released earnings. I don't know, if the quant's going to change it based on those earnings. I have a hard time believing that GM is worth $60. I just, the more Trump wants to get out of electric vehicles, the more the world wants to get into electric vehicles. And the more that GM and Ford push the gas vehicles, the less likely they are to actually compete on the world stage. And that's what's going to hurt them. But, it's the valuation's good. Growth is good. It's just down 10% on those earnings. So, yeah. Steve Crest loves them. And let's be honest. I mean, here's the thing. Look at this. And if we'll just choose Tesla. Tesla has been in a run up, but if you compare those, year to date, GM's down a little bit more. 6 months, GM's not beating them. 5 days, 3 years. I mean, Tesla just beats them, but Tesla's also got a huge valuation. So, can you look at VERX? Yeah. What's VERX? Vertex. Is this the, what do they do? Tax technology solutions for retail trade, wholesale trade. Boy, that's a nice chart. 1 year up 130%. It's software. 54 out of 196. Quantum computing is up there as higher with them. Wall Street says it's worth $59, which is where it's trading. Let's see. I would assume this is an all-time high. Let's look at a weekly first. Yeah, you got your 200-day down here at 23. I don't know that I hate it, but I don't love it at this price. I mean, I think that the valuations, that's a big valuation with a PEG ratio of 9. But again, it's $9 billion software company, which isn't huge. So it's just, I'd rather see you buy on a pullback on this one. And that, the 4-hour algorithm, it does 92% versus 365. That's a bit tough because it's significantly better just to buy and hold. But you look at the weekly and that MACD's never been this high. The RSI's at 72. From a 4-hour standpoint, would have been nice to buy at that 52 level. But you see their earnings. I mean, with their earnings, the last 2 times, this one just went sideways. It didn't continue the way down and then kind of took off. And then you just shot up. There's a tiny little gap down here. This gap has really been filled for the most part. If it pulls back to 54, I'd buy it at 54. Buy it at that 50-day, Eli. That's what I'd do. Put it on a watch list. For me, a small cap like that, you could continue to grow exponentially. You can see that purple line that the AI thinks in Trendspider thinks it's going to continue to go up. I don't know how accurate that is, but you've got clear support here at 54 with a volume shelf. With people buying, it's a little bit between 52 and 54. So I would feel comfortable at that range. At 59, I'm like, maybe a 10% pullback is due. Maybe you're going to shoot up with earnings. Who knows? So I think there's better opportunities in the market is my point. If you had a 10 stock portfolio, I don't know that this would be one that I would start the position in. But if you want to put 1% of your portfolio into it and just guess, maybe that's, again, if you lose 1% of your portfolio, it goes down to 0. It's not likely it's going to go down to 0. But OppFi, yes, I agree. I think OppFi is a good one. Okay. With that, I am out of here. I'm going to play the countdown out. So you guys take care. Enjoy. See ya.
Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Listen now. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Listen now. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Listen now. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Listen now. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Listen now. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Listen now. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Listen now. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Listen now. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell, my heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears.